Hi guys, it's Emily from Nobel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my November wrap-up part 2. And what a month. I've read less than last month, but with the numbers that I've read, I'm quite happy with them. This is the penultimate wrap-up of 2024. I can't believe it. Yes, I'm playing my hair. I had to wear it down because I've been to town. I'm filming this on the 30th because why not? I thought I would. But what a month it's been. It's been an emotional one. Bit of an up and down month. Just did some Christmas shopping with the kids and I've tired myself out big time. Guess what? The kids have got all their presents. Apart from a few little sneaky things from the elf, the kids are all sorted. Most of my family's sorted. Just got to get Chris's and some waffle gifts and some other gifts, but we're getting there. Anyway, I like to compare it with the month before, so I am going to do that a bit in this. I'm going to do a bit more about stats than I am about like the full book reviews, because one of the books I'm going to have a full review out that I've got to actually write today, but there you go. So here, if you don't like the stats, probably skip through the next few minutes, but I know some people like my stats. So I've read a total of 33 books this month. 30 of those were off the unread TBR. I ended up DNFing one of my library books because it's just not for me at the moment. I only gained 22 books this month, guys. I was good. Yes, I'm filming this on the 30th and I've already got 3 books, but I think actually that's doing good actually. I'm only starting the month with 3 books. I'm going to try not to buy too many because I like it. I like actually not buying too many because it does take the pressure off me, makes me feel like I don't have to read too much, and it also just makes me feel a bit happier. But I do like having my little library, so that's okay. I did unhaul one book off my unread TBR, which meant that I didn't actually, because it was my non-fiction book, so I didn't actually read any non-fiction this month for a change. I very rarely ever do that. So my November unread TBR was 290 books. My December unread TBR is 281 books. So I managed to reduce my unread TBR by 9 books, which is a first for ages. I've not done that in ages. Normally I go down by a lot less, but I'm starting to get better, so that's positive. So yes, I've read less books than last month, but this is the interesting bit. So I've read 2 mysteries, 3 classics, 6 fantasies, which I'm really happy with, 8 historical fiction and 15 contemporary. Yes, contemporary is still my go-to at the moment. That's where I need the comfort. But in comparison to last month, obviously last month I read a lot more classics because it was Victober, but my fantasies are the same. I've read more historical fiction books this month. Same on mystery, and obviously I said the classics have gone up, so that's fine. I'm quite happy with those numbers. I haven't read any books that are lower than 3 stars. I've read 1 3-star, 4 3.5 stars, which is a lot lower on. If you add all the numbers up, I've read a lot less lower rated stars this month. I've read 13 4 stars, which last month I'd read 15. I read 8 4.5 stars and 10 last month, but again last month I read more books. But the number that's gone up this month is that I've read 7 5 stars and last month I only read 5, so that's gone up. So I'm quite happy with that. I think my average star rating is higher this month and I'm a lot happier with that. Admittedly, a lot of my 5-star books are series books, so I can't tend to count them as favourites, but I'm happy with them. So I'm happy with these numbers this month. I'm a lot happier. I'm playing my hair because I'm not used to wearing it down. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks nice down? I'm growing it at the moment, so there you go. I'm hoping in a minute Mia's going to be coming in, but I'm hoping she's going to be quiet because I'm filming. I'm filming at the moment, and there she goes. Right, so let me talk about the books that I'm reading this month, that I've read this month, and I'll show you those. So out of my, they're all 3.5 stars. I've got 3 3.5 stars, and which I'll show you right now. One of them was last month. The first one is a Lindsay Kelp book, 1 in a Million. I bought this at a car boot sale this year, so it's one that's gone on and off the shelves within a year. That's very positive. It's my first Lindsay Kelp, and I know she's quite a famous contemporary author. She's very contemporary if you think about it in that way. So I think she is good, but I don't know. I think I'll stick with the charity shop books with her, although this one I really did like. It's about Annie Higgins has given up on love. She's too busy trying to get a tiny business off the ground. Infuriated by an advertising agency across the hall making fun of her job, Annie accepts their crazy challenge to make a random stranger Instagram famous for 30 days. I'm not on Instagram as much at the moment. I think for me it's sort of not helping my mental health, so I'm definitely trying to cut back on social media. And I do find it quite interesting, like the kind of posts they get all these high ratings, and I'm not really into that, excuse me. So I did find it this is quite a young person's book. And if you're young, then I think this would be a better contemporary. But it did make me think about social media and things like that, and I am intrigued about it. But it wasn't necessarily amazing. So, but definitely it's my first for the author, so I will try her again. It's just she's definitely more of a contemporary author. That's one that's going to... I don't know. I'm trying to think whether it's contemporary or whether Mum would like that. No, I don't. I think that's going straight to charity shop. I have to work out my charity shop pile, my Mum pile, and my keep pile. They're three very different piles. So the next one is Kiss Me Under the Mistletoe by Fiona Harper. This is definitely a Mum one because it's not got anything too saucy on it. Don't give Mum saucy books. It's basically like I had got this book last Christmas, and I've read it this Christmas. So again, it's gone in and out within a year. And it's about an ex-wag, Louise Thornton, who's starting her life again, away from the paparazzi and their cheating husband. Unmanicured, back on the carbs, and holding herself together in courtesy of a seriously good foundation. Louise will make things perfect for her son until he leaves. It's a very Christmas romance, very light, very good fun, and I really like the principle of this thing. About her going back to basics, and she's got a Darcy-esque new neighbour who's really a lovely guy. I did love the lead male in this, and I thought it was really good. Louise is a good, strong character in this. It's my first year and a half book, but it won't be my last. I did enjoy that. So I think maybe make the wrap-ups a bit shorter. Maybe that might help you guys. What do you think? And then a book that will be going straight to charity shop, and this is When I Came Home Again by Carolyn Scott. It was a book I bought last year for November, but I never got to read it, and it was very good to be reading on the month of Remembrance Sunday. It talks about a lot about World War One and a gentleman who lost his memory. But it is very, very heartbreaking, very emotional, very long, and I had to really slog a bit through it. So even though I rated it 3.5, I don't know if I should have only rated it 3, because it is very hard work and it's very emotional slog. And this guy, like, he turns up somewhere and he's got no memory of who he is, and you've got loads of women who are trying to claim him and trying to think that he's their lost husband or their lost son or their lost relative. But yeah. I'm thinking if I was to probably look back and re-rate it, I would probably rate it 3 stars, to be honest, but that's not going to be a Mum one. So those are like 3.5-star books, which are good. Now to the 4-star books, which are really good. They were okay, not going to keep, not necessarily going to remember a huge amount about them. The next one is The Skeleton Key by Erin Kelly. I thought this was historical fiction, but it's actually a mystery book. But it's very much of a gothic-y mystery book. Not for Mum at all. It's one I read because I thought it looked witchy and I thought it looked historical fiction, but it isn't. It's more mystery, bit gory, bit like... But I enjoyed it more than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be a real hard-hitting. One book and a lifetime of obsession. Family, mystery, bit of a slog. Again, I don't know. Again, I really need to think whether I rate my books straight away or whether I need to go back and rate them after I've thought about them. Because it was good. It was a tough mystery. I didn't guess some of the connections in this. About like old family divided, a deadly reunion. I just don't know what to make of it. It has got a character there is some autism rep in it, but I'm not sure how good that is. I think it's a little bit alright. But yeah, there was just a few things that I don't know. I don't know about that one. It's 4 stars, but maybe it should have been less than that. Maybe I rated it 4 stars because of the hype of it, not because of what I really thought of it. The next 4 stars is one that's actually second in the series, and I hadn't read the first one. I thought I was going to look for it, but as with all books, I never really got a chance. So I don't know if I would have rated it higher if it would have been first, if I would have read the first book first. This is Christmas at the Cornish Cafe. It's got the real cafe, food-like vibes, Christmas vibes. A Christmas in Cornwall is what dreams are made of, and without any days until the opening of her cafe. Working alongside her gorgeous boyfriend Cal, it looks like Demi's perfect Christmas is just around the corner. And this is until the mysterious hunky writer Kit Bannon arrives. It's alright. Again, it's Philippa Ashley. It's quite contemporary. It's got a bit of saucy scenes in it, so it's not going to Mum. So that's another charity shop one. I think my charity shop pile's growing a little bit, so I might have to do them in 2 different bags. But it's alright. Quite good. Quite a good contemporary. I did like it. I think there were certain bits in it that I thought were really good. But Demi was quite a sweet character. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good book. I'm not being very cohesive in this video, am I? Oh, well, that's a long word for me. The next one is Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman, and this is one of her novellas. If you like Heartstopper, you're going to love this. This is basically set after the Heartstopper films and books, and it's what happened after. Probably should have read books 4 and 5, but I'm sort of imagining that I know how it's going to sort of go. And it's what what happened to Nick and Charlie when they're finishing, when one of them boys is finishing school and about to go to uni, and that sort of challenges. It's a good novella. It was nice, good one. I think Heartstopper is good. I'm old for it, but it is good. And if you like the Heartstopper books, then you really should like that. Actually, I might ask Charlie if she wants to. Just thinking that might be a good Charlie book. There you go. I can sneak that for her. She would like that. I know Charlie likes Heartstoppers. So that is good. Very good, but it's very much of a novella, so I don't do them high rated, but it is as good. It is good like the Heartstopper. You do have to bear in mind, I think I probably should have read the later ones before I read that one. Then this one broke me. This is 4 stars, but again, whether I rated this 4.5, I don't know. Because this one is actually one that I rated lower now that I'm thinking about it. And this is the Christmas Love Letters. Oh, Mum's definitely having this. She would absolutely love this. It is about love letters. It is about family. It's got some character. It's got disability rep in it, which is done really well. And the disability rep is done incredibly in this. I'm not going to tell you too much about how the disability rep is, because it will give you spoilers. But if you want a Christmas book to read for Spoonies Readathon, this will be one to go for. And it's Welcome to Nelson's Bar, a snow-dusted seaside village where time seems to stand still. And our lead character, Maddie Creasy, has lived there all her life, and her husband, Addie, just disappeared one day, one stormy night, and no one's seen him since. And she's basically then turned into a carer for her great aunt. And she lives with her great aunt and her daughter, and it's very much their story. And then you get this other guy, Raph, comes into it. Raph does seem yummy. He does seem really lovely. And they get to know each other when Raph comes in, and there's love letters, there's romance, but it's not too saucy, it's not too rude. It's about love and family and found family and those lovely connections. And I really, really enjoyed this. This is like high-end 4 stars, and this is one I thoroughly recommend to anyone. This was her latest book that came out last year. And now I just want to go, and I've got another Sue Moorcroft on the shelves, and she is a good contemporary author now. I think she's definitely one that I'm going to probably read her other Christmassy book that I've got on my shelves up there in December. I was going to wait till January and let Christmas go on even longer, but I don't think I can wait. And I might even treat myself to another Sue Moorcroft before Christmas. You never know. That way I can make Christmas last even longer and make it last into January. But I keep thinking, am I doing that right? I know I've got one Cathy Brownlee book that's going into January because it's her latest book, and I want to try and spread them all out. But part of me is like thinking, do I really want many Christmas books going into January, or do I want January to be, I might just have that last one and read that at like New Year. That's a good idea. I can read that at New Year and then go straight onto not Christmas books, but winter books. There you go, my brain's working. Now to a book that surprised me, it's 4 stars, because I've rated all these other Rick Riordan books 5 stars. But this is like the 3rd in the series, and we've got 4 and 5 to come. 1 and 2 I really loved. 1 was brilliant, it was 5 stars. 2 was okay, I probably should have rated it 4.5. This wasn't quite as good. I found myself slogging through it a bit, but by the end it picked up, which is why it got 4 stars, because I was really slogging through it. I was supposed to read it with Kat, but then poor Kat got poorly, and I need to find out if she's actually read it. And then, so actually that reminds me, because I need to find out if she's ready for the next book or not. Oh, but it is like the 4th in series, but this, we have other characters, but there is some heartbreaking scenes in this. And you see again, like some characters, I think Piper and Jason would reappear in this book. So the books from the other series. What are my brain cells? The Heroes of Olympus series. There was one book of the Heroes of Olympus series that was coming in this. And it is good, but you do need to read the Heroes of Olympus series before you read this. You need to read the Percy Jackson books. But it wasn't as good as like the first book, and I find in this series, I don't think I like the Trials of Apollo series as much as I like the Heroes of Olympus or the original Rick Riordan Percy Jackson one. So bit of a slog on that one. I'm not 100% on it. I found myself really slogging. I don't know why it felt like a real slog to get through this one, which isn't normal, but I'm keeping it, so it's a keepy. Then I think this might be one of my last 4 stars. Oh, I've booked in the 4 stars that I should have actually been. Okay, actually, I thought I was on that one. I thought that was a 4.5 star book, but it actually isn't. It's a 4 stars. I'm just reading. Okay. This one is the last book that I finished last night, and that is The Dream Snatcher by Abby Elphinstone. This is fantasy. It's the first in a series, and I've got the next one. I know I've got the next book in the series, but I've got a funny feeling now I'm going to have to hunt for the whole series, because this was really good fantasy, high-end 4 stars, because it's the first in the series of The Dream Snatcher, but I actually got a bit scared. It's middle grade fantasy. What other books have I read by I've read some books by Abby Elphinstone, and I've enjoyed them. I'm trying to think what other books I've read. But this is the first of a series. Why have I started another series? I don't know. But it was good. It was a really good like fantasy. It's got some great sort of adventures and mysteries, but some bits that, like I said, bits that proper scared me, and I thought they were a bit like, ah! But I'm going to keep it because it's a series, so I've got to go and put that back on my shelves. But the fact is, it's the first in the series, and I now want to continue the series, so it gives you some idea that I really did enjoy this. And it was a perfect, fun fantasy to end the month on. Now to my my penultimate 4 stars, I've just remembered I've got a classic 4 star. Getting there. This was amazing. Again, this was another one. So, The Dream Snatcher, I think, has been on the shelf a bit longer. Obviously, The Trials of Apollo and Catching. This one has, again, I got this at Thomas's School Fate in the summer, and it's been read already, and it's going straight to my mum because my mum will love this. The Sweet Shop of Second Chances. It's a good pink book. Those of you know pink, very special. And it's about Holly Berry, who has a good career, a steady relationship, and enough of savings that the 2 of them will make house. And she finds out her boyfriend cheated on her. This is all right at the start, so it's not giving spoilers. And she then retreats to the Cotswolds, and she finds a old sweet shop that she used to work in. It's crumbling, and then she goes from there. And if you like the whole sweet shop idea, and there isn't much romance, which is what's good. It's quite fast paced. There is a bit of a baddie in this that I sussed the twist quite early on. I was like, no. But it's a good book. It's a really good, cosy, sweet shop, Christmassy, not Christmas, but just like lovey romance. It's really nice and easy. So that's another one from Mum. Then the last 4 stars is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. It was one of my last rereads. It was my classic. I read it gradually over the course of the month, which worked really well. I think I read this at the right pace. Although some days when I was reading it, I was struggling. There were some days when my brain, I'm finding that at the moment, because of the perimenopause, my brain doesn't always focus. I find I have to keep going back and reading pages because my mind just drifts onto other things. And I think that's definitely affecting my reading in general, which is why I'm struggling with classics still, because my mind just drifts off and I have to go back and read it. But this was really good. It was great to read Elizabeth Gaskell again. North and South is one of my favourites. I need to read Wives and Daughters because that's my favourite by her. This was a reread it. I read it straight away, and it definitely still got the 4 stars. Found the ending a bit rushed. That's my only sort of slight niggle. And then to my 4.5 stars. And this one, I haven't even told Charlie about this. I was supposed to buddy read it with Charlie, because me and Charlie were going to buddy read this with Alice, and it was my last planned buddy read with Alice, which was obviously why I found this hard. Do I think Alice would have loved this? Yeah, I think she would have loved this. It is historical fiction, it's mystery, it's dark, it's sad, and it has a very sad ending. But I think she would have liked it. It's more historical fiction, it's not so much mystery with Daphne du Maurier. It's a good book. Arminio Fabio Finibio lives a pleasant, if not humdrum life until he becomes circumstantially involved in the murder of an old peasant woman in Rome. A woman he gradually learns was his family's beloved servant many years ago. And that's just... yeah, it's really interesting. It's about the Falcon, who was from over 5,000 years ago, and he relates then to Arminio. I don't know when this is sort of set. It's set in the 10th, 20th century town. And the town seems to have forgotten its violent history, but as things changed, and it's violent, and it's dark, and it's sad, but I flew through it. Yes, Charlie, you'll like it, but I did find myself thinking, well, I wonder what Alice would have thought. Still wish I knew. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm keeping that. And then to my book, which it's funny, I'm telling you that I've read it, and I haven't even put my review on. My review on Instagram would have gone up by now. So this is my PR product for the month, and this is the Michaelmas Daisy, and it's 4.5 stars. I will say I'm not going to go into too much detail because my review would have been on Instagram by now. So go and check out my Instagram. It's under Novelle Novels. No, it's a public account. You can see it. And this is about Alzheimer's. And it's got the voice in this. The narrator is Beverly, who's dead, and she doesn't want to make things. But that doesn't make things easier for her to let go. She's watching over her husband and her daughter, sharing their pain and their laughter, their fears and their dreams. And her daughter is looking after. Daughter Philippa is divorced and she's 58, and she's looking after her father who's got Alzheimer's. And caring for him 24/7 is hard work. And then you get Casca, who comes along, and Casca is a carer, and she's there to help, and she's given respite care. And this is apparently written in honour of those who in need of care and those who care for them. And this is probably one of my highest rating. It's 4.5 stars because it's not perfect, but it's so close to 5 stars. This is an amazing book. If you want a good book about about being a carer, about Alzheimer's, it's great. I read it over the whole course of the month, and yeah, I recommend it to everyone. Please, if this is an ad PR product, so I did get sent it to read, but it's a book that I really do think other people should read because it has great rep, and it's great carer rep, and it's a brilliant book. And I hope my review is going to be good, so I need to put that there. I don't think Mum would be able to handle that right now. Now, on a different note, another book that broke me into a million pieces. I'm not going to let my mum read this. This one is another one I got last year or at the start of the year. And this is One Last Gift by Emily Stone. And this is another book that made me cry. It's contemporary, but it's 4.5 stars because it was very well written. I think I figured out that sometimes the best gifts in life are the ones you don't expect. And it's about Cassie, Tom, her brother, big brother Tom, and Tom's best friend Sam. And something happens at the start of this book, and because 2 do become 3, so you can straight away know that one of them is going to pass away. And then it's about one of the people sends Cassie is the one I'll say who does survive, on a mission to find one last gift. And it's about, they've got a bit of romance, a bit of thingy, and about finding gifts, and about gifts that are not always the monetary kind. They are the ones that you don't expect, and ones that give you lessons, and ones that are special. And this is very, very emotional. It really broke me into a million pieces, but it's very well written. Mum would not cope with that. It's a brilliant book. Then to Private Peaceful by Michael Mapongo, which is again this is another one that is a middle grade historical fiction, perfect for it's perfect for like Remembrance Week time. I should have read it over on Remembrance. It's set in World War One, and you've got young Thomas Peaceful is looking back over his childhood from the battlefields of World War One, and it's him remembering things, and it's very emotional. It broke me again into a lot of pieces, but it's brilliant historical fiction, middle grade, but it's aimed at middle grade, I believe, but it's very hard hitting, so it wouldn't necessarily be middle grade. It's a younger person's one, but it's a World War One novel, so it's very, very good, but very emotional. Yeah. Oh, great, my charity shop pile's bigger. But that's it. That's all the charity shop one. And Mum's got 3 books. She might have another 1 or 2 actually, because I think she likes some of these. And the rest are 5 stars, and they're all getting kept. It's just which ones I can let Mum borrow. The first one is an amazing book, and it is Sleep Like Death by Kaylin Byron. I buddy read this with the lovely Chatu from the Mad Chatter. It's Kaylin Byron's most recent book. I love this author's writing. I've read all of her books, apart from You're Not Supposed to Die. That's the only one I've not read, because I think that's more of a mystery. But should I read that? I'd love to know if you think I should. And this is a retelling of, it's like Snow... I don't know if it's Snow White. I don't think it's Snow White. It's the one where the witch is in the mirror, and I can't for the life of me remember. Where the witch is in the mirror and she talks to the mirror, and so it is a fairy tale retelling. And it's about Princess Eve, who was raised with one purpose: to destroy the night, an evil sorcerer who terrorises Queensbridge with his wicked magic. Far too many of her subjects have been devastated by the knight's trickery, but Eve's only unique magic is her ability to conjure weapons from nature, and it makes her a worthy adversary. It's very fast-paced, and yet it's shorter. I know that Chatty found it hard because you're packing a lot in to these 541 pages, and it does rush over some of the other things. I think if you're used to the author's writing, you'll like it and you'll connect with the characters. But I know Chatty didn't connect with the characters as much as I did, but I was used to the author's writing. I'm used to a fast pace. I loved Eve. I loved some of the other characters we meet. There were some bits again that got emotional. There were some deaths that you didn't expect. There were some characters that you grew to love, some that you grew to hate, and it did find it very, very fast paced and really good. For me, the author doesn't go wrong. I loved it. I really enjoyed it, but it's not for everyone. But I loved it. I think it's one I recommend. It's got great rep for everything. It's just a fantastic, fantastic book. Or one more like this one, The Wedding for the Bomber Girls, but I've realised I might get her to read the first Bomber Girls book on, see if she can read it on a reread or something. And this is the sequel to The Bomber Girls, which I read listened to an audiobook, and I found this at the works last year. So this is I found this quite recently. And it's Vicky Beebe is a great historical fiction writer. This is the second in the series, so you really do need to read the first, and I won't go into too much detail. But it's 5 stars, and it's about Pearl and her sister, and like you've got other characters that make an appearance. You've got about Jack, you've got Thea. The sisters are Pearl and her sister Thea. Pearl had a romance in the first in the series, so I can't tell you, but her partner, I'm not going to name his name, is in this, and that gets quite interesting. And then you've got Thea, who potentially have a romance in this. And then you've got their friend Jenny, who's another part of it, and Raths, and it's brilliant. Brilliant historical fiction book. I will learn that's mum. Then to my reread, but it's my reread, but it didn't count on my reread number because I gave the book up, and that was The Merry Christmas Project. I'm reading the second one that I'm starting today, so it'll be a bit on the books I'm starting the month with. And I loved this book the first time round. I love it even more now, and it just really, it's about Mary who, she's a candle maker, she's got a Merry Christmas Project. I've already started the second book, and I just can't wait to finish my other book that I'm starting the book with so I can read it. It's really good Christmas. Kathy Brownlee doesn't disappoint. The third in the series was out recently, and I'm going to read it in January, literally start January. And Mary's, and then there's got the lovely Cole, and you've got the older people that have got romances and fun in the care home, and you've got friends and found family, and it's just a thoroughly, thoroughly great Christmas book. I thoroughly loved it. I'm going to get Mum to reread that actually, so she's going to read the whole series. And then I'm not going to read. And then the other book, which I got last Christmas from Kat from Brews and Reviews, and I've only just read it, and it's The Paris Affair by Anton du Beke, and it's part of the Ballroom Blitz series. So again, I can't tell you too much, because if I tell you too much, you're going to know the bits of the series. You need to read the series. It is, I think it's like 4th or 5th in the series. But you do go back in time to Paris 1926, and it's the Raymond, in most of the series, our lead character, the lead male in this book is Raymond Guise. And we know that was his name that they gave him when he became a dancer. But his real name was Ray Cohen. And Ray Cohen, we get his past life in Paris in 1926. That storyline goes along with the present storyline when Raymond de Guise is all the stuff that's happening at the hotel in the current day, which is set in London 1941. Which is a bit further along obviously in the series than the other bits. We're in World War II, and Raymond is actually fighting away in North Africa. His wife is running something in the hotel, and there's some action and mystery happening at the hotel. Some characters making bad decisions. It's really fast paced, and I thoroughly, thoroughly loved it. I really enjoyed it. I can't remember if Mum likes this series or not, so that's a bit of got to double check. For me, it's still 5 stars. And the last one is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. And it's the most recent book in my Agatha Alice project. And it's probably one of my all-time favourite books. At the moment, my favourite book of Agatha's is 5 Little Pigs, and that was Alice's favourite as well. But this could easily rival it. I know Alice rated it 4 stars, but I know Jem rated it 5 stars, and I know that I've rated it 5 stars, and yeah, straight away telling you it's my favourite of the month. This was a mystery. You've got the narrator, you've got the murder of Roger Ackroyd, you've got all the guesses of who killed him, and boy, there are a lot of twists and turns in this. And this is a Poirot, and I love Poirot in this. He's a great character. Oh, I've now got 2 Marples after this, but I still love Poirot. I love Poirot. It's just, this just like, no one knows who killed Roger Ackroyd. Was it suicide? Was it something going on? And you've got all these possibilities of who could be the killer, and there are so many twists and turns, and it's so fast paced and it's so incredible, and I thoroughly loved it. This could go up there with Five Little Pigs as my favourite because it was just so good. I loved it. But then I feel like I let Alice down because she would have loved it. She would have loved that I liked this, and she did rate it. It was one of her favourites, but it is possibly going to be up there. So I'll talk more about that on the live show, which we'll do at the start of January, when we're going to be discussing this and the next Marple book and the next Agatha book. But can't go wrong with Roger Ackroyd. I need to get some more. I just wanted to go, and I still want to do more, but binge buying of buying more and more Agathas, because can't go wrong. Agatha's the best. And in honour of that, if you got to the end of this video, leave me a magnifying glass or a dagger. Magnifying glass or a dagger, because it's murder, you never know. Actually, no, leave it a dagger. You've got to read this book to know why, but leave me a dagger emoji. If you can't find a dagger, these are magnifying glass, but one of those two emojis if you got to the end of this video. What were your favourite books of the month? I'd love to know. I love chatting to you all in the comments. Yeah, let me know what you've been reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed, ring on my ding-a-ling. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.